Good morning, my beautiful, beautiful friends. It is your boy Patrick Allman with you. It's Friday. You can't have any bad Fridays, man. It's really hard to have a bad Friday. Apologize if the stream looks a little bit different today. And rearrange my desk to prepare for some more future live stream stuff as I expand the studio here. And I had to kind of change the angle of the camera. So normally when I'm looking at you, it's more of kind of a straight on kind of view right here. But right now, because I got a new big giant monitor and I had to rearrange everything, the camera is up there. So if I'm looking up at a slightly different angle than when I'm normally looking at you, I apologize. But for you first time watchers, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is 9:12, Friday, November 15th, and I am your host, Patrick Allman. And we're going to chat a little bit about life and business, what's going on in my life and what's going on in your life, and some ideas I have today specifically on how you can simplify your business. So if you are just getting started with your day, cheers, props to you. Props to those of you who wake up super, super early. I have to admit, I'm normally one of those. But this week, a couple of times, due to, I think, late night workouts and just getting some really good sleep, I've slept in well past my alarm. And I've heard that before, and I'm just kind of curious what your take is on that. I've heard before that you're supposed to sleep until your body naturally wakes up. And that is on my bucket list of things to do. Right now, I want to be more of an early rising kind of person, but I would like to get to the point where I can just, go to bed whenever I want and wake up whenever I want. So my goal is to simplify, which is probably one of the reasons this word was on my mind today. But yeah, my body recently, I've started doing some new workouts where I'm lifting a lot heavier, not to the point of hurting myself, but I'm on what's known as a 5x5 routine, which is where you talk about simplification when it comes to part of your life. I guess that was on my word when I picked that. But the 5x5 routine, when it comes to lifting weights and getting into shape, what it is you pick three large body exercises. It's called Mad Cow 5x5. There's various things for it, but the whole point is on your gym days you do three exercises, multi-function exercises, okay, multi muscle exercises, and you go at them really hard for 5 sets. So 5 reps, 5 sets. That's what it is. And it's talking about the big three. Before we got really complicated with machines and yoga and Pilates, pizza. I can't remember how you say that word. Pilates, I think, is what it is. Before we got really complicated with our fitness out there, um, there were just the basic good full body exercises, the big ones. We call them the big three in the bodybuilding world. You've got deadlift, you've got bench press, and you got squat. Okay, if you did nothing but those three exercises ever in the gym, your body would look great. Okay, now we have progressed, I'll admit, and there's plenty of other exercises out there, and you see all kinds of great routines. But sometimes it's good to go back to the basics. So this month, the month of November, and partially into December because I didn't start at the beginning of November, I'm going to be working on the 5x5 routine. The challenge with that is you're lifting a lot of weight. Okay, not to the point of injuring yourself. Okay, I'm a little bit older, a little bit more mature. Okay, I'm not going for my 505 or my 405 deadlift, or benching 300-400 pounds, or squatting 300 or 400 pounds. I'm a squatter. Okay, I can squat some weight, or I used to be able to squat some weight. I'll put it to you that way. These days, I'm very careful on the knees. But the challenge is it just sucks. It just sucks the life out of you because you're lifting such heavy weights. So recently, my body has been saying, "Yo, sleep in. You need the recovery time." And so that's probably why I've just been a little bit more tired recently. I've been waking up. But for those of you that do wake up, kudos. You've been awake. If your coffee cup's in front of you, I raise my glass to you. As you know, I don't particularly promote these guys, but I love the coffee and motivation. I love, love, love the coffee and motivation coffee cups. Take it full black, some cream, some sugar. Okay, what was on my mind today? What I wanted to talk to you about was simplification. Okay, and the reason I'm talking about simplification, and you're going to see me talk a lot about looking forward in 2025 in the remaining shows this year, is the fact that remember, oftentimes when I'm talking about a topic, it's a topic that is near and dear to me, or it's one, hey, Carrie, girlfriend, good to see you. Good to see you. Let's get some names on the screen from all these beautiful people that have joined us. Ryan, my pilot buddy, is hopping around the world in Denver. I'm still waiting for him to tell me what kind of machine so I can be jealous of what kind of iron he's flying there. So good morning, Ryan. Hope, man, you and Hannah are well health-wise. We got to look me up sometime, man. You got to look me up. I'm due for my BFR. I'm not actively flying, but hey, a BFR would never hurt, right, Ryan? Talking to you, brother. So Ryan's out gallivanting around the world. Ryan and Hannah are beautiful people. And my buddy Carrie, my high level queen right there. Always good to see you guys. So as I was saying though, is 2025, as we go into 2025, this is what I was saying, okay? Oftentimes you'll see me talk about topics that are important to me or things that have been on my mind or areas where I am failing, okay? Keep that in mind. If I'm talking about a topic, it's an area that I am currently failing at, or it's an area that I have failed at before, and I've got good failure experience in my hip pocket, which you need to listen to. One of the things I have not been good about in the past is looking forward far enough. So right now, once we start getting in the last quarter of this year, I'm spending more and more time looking at next year, okay? And there's various reasons, I'm sure you know them, but just as a reminder, you cannot start working on having a good January 1st if you start working on it the morning of January 1st or even on the evening of December 31st, okay? You've got to get on that shite early, okay? And that's what I'm doing right now, and that's what I want you to do. And part of that comes to simplification. At the end of every year, I do spend some time reflecting and seeing what I can simplify in my business. And I've been doing that the past couple of weeks. I see that my business offerings have kind of crept up to more than where I want them to be. You know, we're selling a few more things at the agency that I want to be selling, and and that's really weird because it's something I preach not to do, but somehow I crept into that. So I've got to pull back, and I've got to pull back on that and make sure that for 2025 we have in our world of digital marketing, you have one really good core offering and you have some other offerings above and beyond that. So I need to get back to that. I need to work in like a good flow charting program like Miro or ClickUp has flow charting, and make sure I revisit my customer journey. My goal is to create playmakers, okay? That's my goal. And a playmaker is somebody who has active control of their day, is somebody who is making plays. That's where I got the name from, making plays. And someone who's able to generate revenue in their life, but on their terms, on their times, with their locations. So, my goal of a playmaker is for the average human being to be able to do what they want, when they want, where they want, and who they want to be with, okay? And that sounds egotistical. That sounds selfish, but it's meant more to remind us that we have a finite amount of time on this planet, and way too often we're falling into the mold of the 8 to 5. This is what you're taught, man, in elementary school and junior high school and everything else is just the routine that we're supposed to do, and I've been against that routine for so long. And so part of my simplification is making sure that my Playmakers program, that we emphasize, we really put an emphasis on the importance of being you-centric, okay? And that's the first thing I would probably take down today if you were taking notes about, how you simplify your life. And this is literally in my notes right here on my iPad, is you've got to be a little bit selfish, okay? And I get some heat on this one because we have really made the word selfish a bad word. And by selfish, I don't mean, hoarding money and things to yourself and keeping to yourself and not sharing. What I mean when I say selfish is analyze the time in your life, analyze the things that you're doing in your life, and make sure that the things you want to do are the front and center things, okay? For me, my ideal day is to, wake up at a decent hour, okay? And know that I have some time in my week, or once or twice where I can go flying. Okay, that would be my ideal day. Once or twice where I can go flying. The ability to still go to the gym 3 days a week. Spending some quality outdoor hiking time, which I do every possible chance I can get. Traveling more, so not only being the pilot of a plane, but being the passenger of a plane in the back, where I can just sit there and look out the window. I don't know about you, but when I'm on a plane, I can just stare out the window. I can stare out the window on a flight from New York to San Diego and never be bored. I can always find something to look at or take a picture of or a person to talk to about a topic. I'm one of those people on an airplane that makes friends with everybody, okay? I am such a low stress traveler, and I try to de-stressify the traveling experience for the people around me, okay? But I can enjoy a lot just by sitting and watching what's passing me by in a plane. Okay, something else I want to do is I want to be at the beach more, just because it's a nice, relaxing environment. So when I say be more selfish, what I'm referring to is just look at what you want to do with your day and your time, okay? And make sure that's important. More often than not, people will look at what they have to do with their day and their time, and they're like, oh, that's someday. Or I'll do that. Did I just spill coffee? Oop, I'm getting so excited. Spilling coffee all over myself. Well, I guess one of my simplification things is, Patrick, don't be so animated on video and spill your coffee, right? But you just have to look. Goodness gracious, now we're getting coffee on the keyboard. That is completely unacceptable. Okay, that is unacceptable. But we're also not going to waste a single drop of coffee, right? That stuff is amazing. Um, but yeah, just look. When I say be more selfish, what I mean is just look at your life and making sure making sure that the things that you want are things that are happening every single day, because no one's doing them for you. Okay, remember that. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to come to you if your name is Bob, for example, okay? No one's going to come to you tomorrow and say, Bob, I realize you've had a rough life. You know what? Here's $100,000. Take a break for 6 months. You don't have to worry about working. You can go do whatever you want, and life will be just fine, okay? That's not coming for 99.9% of people, okay? It's just not going to happen. The only way it happens is when you stand up on your 2 feet and you say, this is the life I want. This is what I want to do when I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and this is how I want to spend my day, okay? That's what I mean by being selfish. And if you're not selfish like that, you know what? Life will take care of you. Life will run on autopilot for you, okay? And I've realized that in the past, and I've realized when my life was on autopilot, and it bothered me and it scared me. So I really do try to spend conscious time every single day remembering what I want and where I want to be. And oftentimes, it's not answering emails, it's not doing technical tasks. I'm doing my best every single day to offload the stuff that I want to do and giving it to somebody who does want to do it. That's the beauty of offloading the stuff you don't want to do. Is there somebody out there who's going to geek out about it? Okay, like in my technical world of setting up marketing systems for people, there are some like low down technical tasks that I know that I can outsource or sub to someone, okay? And they will enjoy it, okay? It's not like I'm above somebody and I'm trying to pawn off my lower work to some peon beneath me. No, there's somebody out there on the other side of me pitching and they're catching. They're like, oh, Patrick, that super hyper technical stuff that you're good at that you don't want to do, I do want to do it, okay? So all you got to do is find the people that do want to do those things. Okay? There are plenty of things I admit I don't want to do. I don't want to do my laundry. I don't want to vacuum my house. I don't want to mow my lawn. I don't want to wash my car, okay? Can you get pleasure out of those things? Yes, you can. But those are things that take me away from the core things that I want to spend time on, okay? Traveling, flying, so traveling, flying, exercise, fitness, Zoom calls with friends, traveling, spending time on the Vegas Strip, having a really good meal with friends, or hiking up and down the Grand Canyon. That's going to be in my future at some point too. Okay, so make sure you wake up every single day. You are being somewhat selfish. As always, quick sidebar self plug. Please make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Okay, please make sure you subscribe on YouTube, because that is a channel I'm trying to grow. Hopefully, if I'm not mistaken, I should be over 3,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of today. If not by the end of the day, probably definitely by the end of the weekend. I think I'm 29. I'm in the high 2,900s someplace. That's a big goal of mine, is to expand my viewership. So in other words, to be more you-centric, you have to get, obviously some of your big rocks on the calendar. Business-wise, when you're trying to be simple, I already talked about that. Simplify what you sell. You have to decide what kind of business you're going to run, and this is something that's challenged me a lot recently, because of the people I've been around and the freedom I've seen released as a result of certain business models, and just the way I've run my business and the way I've done things for, since I was 15 or 16. Since I was 16, I've been making good money, basically setting up and running technical systems for people. And I kid you not, there's someplace in one of my high school yearbooks, there's somebody that made some kind of signature about being jealous of the money I was making. Because in 15, 16 in high school, I was doing complicated IT kind of networking setups at like 20 bucks an hour. And I'd be chatting, I'd be telling my friends about this at high school, and they were making, like, it was Southern California, they'd be making, I think the minimum wage back then was like $2.35 an hour. So they were making $2.35 an hour, and I was making $20 an hour. But to do the kind of work I do and to get as good as I've gotten, I've had to be a hyper technical person, okay? And I've realized that's not necessarily how I want to spend my 18 hours awake every single day, as being a hyper technical person. So I'm finding really sharp hyper technical people, and training them and making sure that I give all that work to them, so I can focus more on the one-on-ones, the coffee shops, the traveling, the things like that. Okay, that's a constant struggle for me, and that's something I'm working on, definitely going forward for 2025. Sell less and make it simple. Let me see. Let me see. What am I? I'm just keeping trouble all the windows here. Heading home to Wiley Post, Ryan. Man, tell me your tail number. I'll track you, Ryan. Flying that Learjet today. Yeah, man, I always love tracking that stuff. Yeah, Ryan is a cool cat. Hopefully, Ryan's podcast will get up and running again at some point. Ryan has a really good aviation related podcast. And see, that was one of my perfect days. Now that I'm thinking about that day I got to chat with Ryan, that was one of the days of my life that I'll remember as perfect. And this is why. I got to fly. I got to fly to go see a friend. I got to fly to a destination where I was going. Once we got there, we talked on video about flying, about business. So we got to basically be on video, which I love to do. I got to talk, and I got to fly to do it. And then I got to fly back, okay? I'm not sure if I took direct back or if I went someplace else. But that, to me, I would do that all day long. I would fly 7 days a week. If I could fly someplace, record a podcast or a video show, and fly back, that would be sweet. You'd see me jumping out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. That to me is one of my ideal days right there. Is being able to get in an airplane, fly someplace, do something for work/business related. Ryan's wasn't work business related, but being able to go someplace that's incidental to the flight and get paid for it. So like for me, I'm not a commercial pilot, and a commercial pilot is one that can actually make money or profit or generate revenue from flying. I can deduct my flying expenses, but only if it's a business trip. So what I need to do is I need more business trips in the states around me that I can fly to. Okay, and again, that would be the ideal day to me. I mean, if you told me that today, Thursday, let's say Thursday, if you told me that on Friday morning I had to wake up early, do all my flight planning and my weather prep work, go out there, pre-flight my airplane, hop in my airplane, fly down to Addison, Texas, which is in the middle of downtown Dallas, get out of the plane, Uber over to some business, talk to them about marketing for 3 or 4 hours, and then Uber back to the airport, get in my plane and fly home. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? That would be a fucking sweet day for me right there, okay? And those are more the days I want. Now, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't mind getting a plane and flying up to see my mom in Seattle. However, on on any Cessna 172, we know it's going to take either an entire day or it's going to wrap over multiple days, okay? We'll get there. We will see. We will get there, okay? But as you go into 2025, as what are you saying is Stephen Howe. Hey, Stephen, man, good to see you. Richard Hayes. Oh, goodness gracious, a bunch of names popped up. Gareth. Oh, my goodness gracious. There's a name I haven't seen in forever. Gareth, how are you doing, brother? Where are you now? Where are you? Are you still doing music, man? I don't recall what you've done since basically since high school, but I do know that name for sure. It's been a minute for sure, Gareth. Richard from the UK, right? Isn't Richard? Are you in the UK? Um, no, no. I'm sorry. Steven's in the UK. Let's see what Richard's saying here. Great posts and videos here. I also remember anything that can happen, so you have to control your attitude and stay strong. Jason Day, Australian golfer. Good. Thank you, Richard, for sharing that. Good words for sure. Great post. Anything can happen, so you have to control your attitude and stay strong. Exactly. That's all you can control, right? That's really all we can control. Everything else we're just kind of swimming in the world of. So Stephen from the UK, brother, good to see you. Um, from the south coast of the UK. I don't know what's the weather like there, Stephen? And I know it's like in Fahrenheit versus Celsius or vice versa, right? Um, Good to see you. Yeah. See me about. Oh, so Gareth, you're pretty much in the same area. Gareth Cook. Yeah, I had a part-time job in high school out there, Gareth. I can't remember what it was, but that was one of the places I worked. Is I actually would catch a ride from a business owner. He'd pick me up in North Hollywood and drive me back and forth to Simi Valley. I remember that. And yeah, Ryan's giving me some lame ass excuse. He had to step away. How am I not the center of your world, Ryan? When I'm on camera, man, how could you step away? How could you how could you leave me like that? Um, I'm kidding, Ryan, of course. Own a post house in Burbank. I don't know what that means, post house in Burbank. Saw Andy D the other day. I don't recall who that is, Gareth. Help me out, man. I don't recall who Andy D is. Stephen Howe. Cold, a dismal, but the energy is hot. See? Look at that. Stephen with the attitude. Stephen knowing that who cares? It's the UK. It's always overcast and cold and wet, right? But screw it. Stephen's got a great attitude. Okay, Stephen's got a great attitude. Uh oh, look at that. We hit the bottom of the cup. And you know what that means? Nothing, but I have to wrap up and get some stuff done. So yeah, guys, I have a recap. Spend some time and don't do it January 1st, okay? The whole New Year's resolution thing is bull crap, okay? Your resolutions have to happen now. It's November 15th. These days are gonna fly by. Trumpet player. Oh, post production. Andy Duncan, trumpet player. Oh, okay. I would have to go back and look that up, Gareth. I'd have to look that up and see what that was. I just don't recall. We only graduated from a high school with like what a thousand people, or not a thousand people in our graduating class, but several hundred people in our graduating class, from what I recall. Right there. Um, Goodness gracious, I just had a thought, and the thought escaped me. Um, Goodness gracious, what was that thought? Anyways, my goodness, did my brain just? Yep, yep. That's what I got when I have good ideas. That's what I want, good ideas. Oh, I was talking about the end of the year. The fact that you have to plan now for, you can't be doing this stuff January 1st. When it comes to planning, you really can't. One of the things I want to do in 2025, good seeing you too, Gareth, man. Um, and like Steven said right here, have an awesome weekend. Yes, take action now. 2.5 months left. 2.5 months. It's one and a half. It's one and a half. Oh, here was my parting thought. Something else that I've realized that this is some advice you could take from. You could call me an old man if you want. Let's just say I'm a more mature man than a lot of you. Okay, is I have noticed that time feels like it's speeding up, and it's not. I am just so busy that my days are flying by, and I am often shocked. I'm not going to say all the time. I am often shocked by how fast like a day blows by or like a week blows by. Like I'll get to like a Friday morning sometimes, like right now, and I'll think, oh, whew, it's Wednesday. I got more to do, and it's already Friday morning, Friday afternoon. Okay, so I don't know what it is. Somebody who's smarter than me probably knows there's some kind of phenomenon that probably has to do with getting older, or realizing you have less time left on this planet, or maybe there's a little bit of paranoia in there. But my whole point is that it feels now that I'm not going to say it magically happened when I turned 56, but it just feels these days that time is just flying by, which is making me a little bit paranoid, okay? When I'm thinking about, like, you know, doing certain things, flying, doing certain things, traveling, doing certain things physical fitness wise, when I think about these things, and just to know that my hours and days are just flying by, okay? Those are the kind of things that scare me into saying on November 15th, oh, shit, we better plan 2025. So 2025, we already got something big planned. We're going on a cruise in 2025, and this studio is definitely going to be. We definitely have to expand this studio to do a bigger and better show, because that's one of my major goals, is to do a much bigger video show, much bigger production, much higher quality for you guys out there, because it's, number one, I enjoy it. I know it helps people, and you know, it helps me also. And yes, it's good for business. Let's not lie. So with that being said, please spend some time. Please spend some time using any tool you want. If you want some tool suggestions, let me know. But spend some time with just a piece of paper and a pencil and work on your 2025. Okay? Number one, you have a better chance of accomplishing what you want in 2025. But one of the side benefits I've realized, for me at least, is that it de-stresses me. It de-stresses me in December, for example, when I have spent November planning out December. I know what's going to happen. And by the way, the world is run by people making and executing plans. And if you don't make and execute plans, you are going to be the subject of somebody else who is making and executing plans, okay? So if you just throw your hands up, and say, oh, I have no control of my world, I will just coast on what somebody else does, okay? What's going to happen is somebody else who does have goals in the world, does have dreams, wishes, hopes, desires, plans, they will make you part of theirs, okay? This is the whole philosophy of either you're the lead dog or you're in the back, okay? And there's very few lead dogs, but there's a lot of dogs in the back, okay? Just remember that. If you do not make and execute the plans you want for your ideal life, you will be the subject/victim of somebody else's plans, okay? So it's a proven fact. You have a very, very good day. Thank you for watching. Get some caffeine in you and make some money and plan for 2025. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.